I'm going to talk a little bit about some things that happened at Seattle University and also some things that happened in the Albers School, the business school at Seattle. So most of you don't know much about Seattle U, so I'll give you a quick overview. We have about 7,800 students, 1,900 in the business school, about 4,300 undergraduate, 1,000 law students, and the balance would be graduate schools and a variety of different programs. It's an urban campus. It's right on the edge of downtown Seattle, 48 acres, so it's relatively small. 33 buildings crowded into those 48 acres, and about 1,700 students live on campus, so most students do not live on campus. We have about 1,400 faculty and staff who are commuting to campus. We have a real long-standing commitment to green, and part of that, I'm sure, is driven by where we are in the U.S. So the Northwest of the U.S. is really a very green-conscious area compared to other regions. And I have to say that being a green campus contributes to our recruiting of undergraduate students. It's part of that mix. We've been designated a backyard wildlife sanctuary by the state of Washington and also by the National Wildlife Foundation of Wildlife Habitat. So most of you haven't been to the campus, but it's very beautiful. Lots of plants and trees and flowers. You wouldn't expect to see it if you were sort of on the street looking into the campus. Once you're there, it's quite a surprise. We've had a number of buildings that we've built recently that are LEED certified, as you might expect. And one interesting fact is since 1994, we have earned 16 environmental awards and 8 environmental recognitions, the latest being from the state of Washington as Recycler of the Year. So we are a signatory of the President's Climate Commitment. I don't think we've talked about that yet, but that's something that originated in the U.S. and basically, as you can see, nearly 700 universities have signed up for that. The basic commitment is to come up with a zero carbon footprint, which sounds impossible, but our maintenance staff actually think they can do it. There's a few schools from outside the U.S., so maybe some of you in the audience should start considering looking at this. It's quite a challenge, as you might suspect, to zero out your carbon footprint. It's overseen by something called the Association for the Advancement of Sustainability in Higher Education, so if you go to their website, you're interested, you can find information on that. We're also a signatory of the Seattle Climate Partnership, so this is in Seattle. Businesses, nonprofits, government agencies committing to significantly reduce their production of greenhouse gases. And Seattle has a very ambitious goal as a city to reduce greenhouse gas. Everything in the 48 acres except the soccer field or the football field, depending upon which country you're from, is dealt with in an organic, pesticide-free, herbicide-free approach. So a very natural approach to controlling pests and so forth. Unfortunately, you just can't get the soccer field that's functional without using chemicals. We have a lot of 2 rain gardens and use rain roofs in some of the buildings. We compost 50,000 pounds of food scraps a year and 54,000 pounds of trimmings from the ground. I will have a nice little picture for you later of the machine they use to compost the food scraps, because that's kind of a unique, interesting thing. A lot of our energy consumption is from renewable wind, and we have all the vehicles that the maintenance folks use are electric vehicles, so they don't make a lot of noise and they don't spread a lot of pollution. Now, I thought this was interesting. As part of the presidential climate commitment that we made, we contracted a consulting firm to come up with our carbon footprint, and this is what they came up with for Seattle University. And the biggest surprise to me is that the biggest imposition on the environment is air travel. They have it broken down into 2 categories. One is by employees and by athletics. So all our sports teams, of course, are flying all over the place to their various venues. But also air travel for study abroad. And that was a really big number that struck me. It took me by surprise. You can see that, by far and away, air travel combined is the biggest, and then all those faculty and staff coming to campus, all those students coming to campus contribute to the emissions from commuting. And then I think this is my last slide on the university. In terms of the academics, there's 2 undergraduate degrees that are environmentally focused. One is a bachelor's in environmental studies, which is offered out of the College of Arts and Science, and then there is a Bachelor of Science in Environmental Science that comes out of the College of Science and Engineering. And if you just look at the curriculum, of course, there's various environmental courses offered across all schools. Now that picture, for your amusement, is a machine that recycles the food wastes. So then when they're done with that, they use that to fertilize the grounds. Okay. We, of course, like many of you, are signatories of Prime. We have to get our report ready soon. It's due in December, so we're starting to work on that. What I want to focus on with respect to the school, because in the interest of time, you don't want to know everything, is we're just starting a specialization in sustainability as part of our MBA program, and a little bit on faculty scholarship.